In the last video, we talked about how the inner triangle of the Enneagram represents how we go to sleep to ourselves, how we function on autopilot and use stories as a way of reinforcing old behaviors. Here we're going to talk about how we can reverse that process and use that inner triangle as a model for creating change. The process starts at the top of the triangle, again with point 9, but instead of being on autopilot, we start to practice awareness. Now, awareness means a lot of things to a lot of people, but basically what we're talking about here is the ability to pay attention when something doesn't feel like it's working. Again, it's fine to function on autopilot a lot of the times. It's okay to rely on our old strengths and our old patterns if they are solving the problems we're facing today. But when we start to feel friction, when something in life is not working, when our emotions are telling us there's something wrong, I'm angry because I feel that some injustice has been done. I'm embarrassed because I feel like I made a mistake. I'm nervous because I feel like there's some threat out there. These are signals to stop, pay attention to what's happening around us, and to start to pay attention to our patterns of personality and see how they might be causing us to bump up against our environment. When we see this, we can start to create a goal for change. Now, if change were as simple as just that we decided to just stop doing this and start doing that, everybody would change. But we know that change is not easy. We resist it for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons we resist change is because our behaviors of today became habits because they solved some problem in our past. They provided some solution or some sense of security that we were looking for. When we try to change, some part of our brain tells us that it could create danger for us. And we start to understand that we have some inner conflict going on when it comes to the change. In our mind, we know that, yeah, it would be good for me to change, but some part of us says, don't do it. We run into an internal conflicting commitment. So point 3 of the Enneagram represents authenticity. What we mean here is reconciling this inner conflict. It means learning to rewrite our story in a way that respects the need that we've always had, but allows us the opportunity to change. And when we understand that at the heart of these stories is our Enneagram type strategy or our instinctual bias, we know exactly what changes we need to make to our stories in order to be able to incorporate these new changes. So we're not rejecting something, we are just embracing who we are and expanding our definition of who we are and what our strategy is in a way that allows us to create change. The 9, for example, who can be stuck in this idea of I can only be peaceful if I don't assert myself or if I resist change, starts to learn that I can actually be more peaceful in the long term if I say what I want. The 8 learns to understand that power doesn't just mean controlling others or dominating, but it means lifting other people up and empowering them. Finally, we need to create a specific set of action plans. We need to identify a simple behavior that will reinforce this story for us. The 8 needs to say, well, here's the people that I'm going to empower, and here's what I'm going to do to empower them. The 9 needs to say, when I feel the need for this thing or this thing, I'm going to assert myself. I'm going to voice it. And this will actually bring me more peace over the long term. This is the way change happens, by learning to expand our definition of what's at the heart of our preferred strategy, to use that new definition to rewrite our inner narrative in a way that allows us to embrace new behaviors, to embrace new attitudes and new thoughts rather than fear them. In the videos that follow, we'll explain how each of the 9 Enneagram types and 3 instinctual biases can do that.